Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast. For today, we're going over UFC 319, Plessis versus Chimaev. First things first, make sure you smash that like button. Give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. And I hope you're doing so if you like money, because we were on fire last week. Unfortunately, neither of the dogs came through, but we were on other dogs that were not official picks that came through. Both our locks came through, even though the Gene Matsumoto fight was a little questionable. We had some over-unders come through. All in all, I think we only got 3 or 4 fights wrong on a 13-fight offering. So it was a positive night. It was a good night. It was a winning night. And that's back-to-back weeks where we are making money. We're looking for the trifecta this week with the pay-per-view. Um, Last two cards have actually been super fun as well, not just winning money, but also just the fights in general. And this fight card is kind of a fun fight card. Not a ton of huge name value, which is just making them better in all honesty. And it's no different here. So there's 13 fights now, I think. They're still adding some as we speak. So let's just go ahead and jump into the very first fight of the night because it's one I really didn't do a lot of fight tape on, to be 100% honest with you. I didn't know they added this fight until like an hour ago. So it looks like we have one of the Ultimate Fighter finales that are showing up here. I have no odds or anything listed for this fight. We are looking at Joseph Bopo Morales against Albibi Idris. We'll start with Albibi because I mean that's the one we know least about. The only tape I really have to go off of is watching the Ultimate Fighter show, the highlights that they show on the show, watching his 2 fights on the Ultimate Fighter. That's really all I have to go off of. And just based off of that, the kid's good. He's 10-0 for a reason. A lot of people in that region of the world are just good fighters. Not really a lot of information on him. But in regards to his fight style, he's a good striker, he's a good wrestler, he's an okay jujitsu guy, but he prefers to strike and to grapple and to strike and to grapple, and he kind of does whatever he needs to, contingent on who the fighter is. And he can't afford to do so because he's just that talented. I do think he's a really good fighter, but there's one little issue I do have with Habibi, and it's the fact that he's 10-0. And in the year 2025, all these guys are losing their O's. Someone every single week is losing their undefeated record, and it's even continuing into contender series. People in contender series that are undefeated are coming in and losing that O. So is he the next one to do so? Possibly, because Joseph is the real deal. Joseph is someone I like quite a bit. Joseph Morales is a former UFC guy, and if they let anyone that was in the UFC in the Ultimate Fighter, just assume they're going to win all their fights. It just continues to happen over and over and over. There's a levels game, and Joseph is the definition of that. In the UFC, yes, he has 2 losses, but one of them was to Davidson fucking Figueroa, who was a former champion of the world, and the other one being to Ed Shelton, I believe. Sorry, Eric Shelton. And it was by split decision, and it was kind of questionable. So on that front, he's another one that's just well-rounded. He prefers to be a BJJ guy, but he's an okay wrestler. He's an okay striker. He's serviceable everywhere. But if he gets your back, it's usually a lot of trouble. So what is a BB going to do to win this fight? Probably keep the fight on the feet. What does Joseph want to do to win this fight? Probably get it down on the mat. Is he going to be able to do so? Does he have the 3 rounds of cardio to do so? I think so. It's really a matter of. I think this really might be a dog or path situation. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I had to let the pup out, and he's destroying everything he can see. But yeah, at the end of the day, this probably turns into a dog or pass situation. I have no idea what these lines are. I'm assuming that Vegas doesn't really know either of these guys. They're going to see 10-0. They're going to make a BB the favorite. Joseph was also the last pick in the Ultimate Fighter show, so I can guarantee you he's the dog. And it's just a matter of a number. If you give me more than plus 160 on Joseph Morales, I'm probably going to take him. If you give me a close line fight, I'm probably just going to stay away or I'm going to take the over at the end of the day. And that's the way I'm going to take it. So, again, it's hard to say because I do not see a line yet. But if you give me enough on, you know what, fuck it. If I see like plus 200 or higher, I'll say on Joseph, I will pull the trigger on the dog or pass. Next fight of the night. Speaking of dogs, we have Dione Barbosa at plus 180 going up against Carini Silva at minus 220. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 270. Under 2.5 at plus 200. Let's start with Carini Silva. I don't think she's that good. She's okay. And she's a little overhyped to be such a big favorite in every single one of her fights. She's 31 years old. She's in her prime. She's an absolute killer and finisher. She finishes basically every single one of her fights, and her nickname is Killer, and that's justifiable. She has great jujitsu, but her striking leaves a little to be desired. Her wrestling is just okay. It's not that great. Her cardio is not good. It does fall off a cliff if she doesn't get that early finish. And she's rocking a 0% takedown defense, but part of that's by design because she is a jujitsu girl. She likes being on the ground. She throws decently hard, and she has this front kick that she throws over and over and over. And if you're not careful, she will clip you with it, I'll be honest. But she only throws so much. You only have to avoid it so many times because she is a little lower volume. That does make her hittable when she's on the feet. And when you do get her down to the ground, she does play guard. She doesn't have any urgency to get back up. She wants to sub you on the ground. So if you have any semblance of a ground game, and you take her down and just play safe, you can win. That's what Marina Rodriguez did. That's what Viviana Araujo did in her last fight. And get this one. That's what her last loss looked like before she made it into UFC. And who was the last person to beat her back in 2019 before she made it to the UFC? Her opponent this Saturday, Diane Barbosa, the plus 180 dog, is someone that just beat this girl 6 years ago. So very, very interested to see the way this line moved. I know part of it is because Barbosa is coming in on short notice, so I do understand that part. I do understand that Barbosa has a tendency to gas out herself, so her taking short notice fights isn't great. Her last loss she took on short notice against Miranda Maverick, and she gassed out after a round and a half. That could potentially happen again, to be honest with you. Even in the UFC, she beat in that win against Ernesta Kutinskaya. It was very, very close. And she did gas out in that fight with a full fight camp in her hometown. So, yeah, she does have some cardio issues. But outside of gassing out and being 33 years old, she does have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so she is confident on the ground. She does have pretty decent striking, definitely the better striker than Silva. Her wrestling, she is a judo black belt. She's the better wrestler than Silva. Um, uh, she's pretty low volume and pretty hittable herself. I don't like that. And the 42% takedown defense is a little frightening. Again, Silva's not the best wrestler, but Barbosa, that 42% is not a good number. But a lot of that is when she's tired, when she's just gassed out. We saw like Ernesta taking her down, and Ernesta is a swimmer. Like she's not a grappler by any means, but when you're tired, you're going down. Miranda Maverick continually took her down when she was tired. Like there's nothing you're going to do when you're just exhausted. Good news for her though is Silva gets just as gassed. But in the first round, where Silva gets all the work done, Dione is explosive, and Dione's done this before. She's confident enough to come in on short notice because she already beat this girl. So at that juncture, there is no way I'm trusting Carini Silva at minus 220 against someone she just lost to. This line makes absolutely no sense. So at the end of the day, the pick is going to be Dione Barbosa. She's the better fighter. And the bet is going to be Dione Barbosa. You're playing with fire because Karina Silva is a killer, literally. But I'm going to go ahead and I'll roll the dice there. Next fight of the night, we have Nursultan Ruzaboev at plus 135 going up against Brian Battle at minus 160. Over 2.5 minus 110, under 2.5 minus 120, damn near a pick 'em. Let's start with the Ruzaboev side. He's not good. He's not good at all. He has 1,000,001 Kimura wins on his record on the regional scene because these guys don't know how to grapple. He's an okay jiu-jitsu practitioner. I'll give him that. And he trains over at Henzo Gracie Philly, which is a phenomenal gym and a gym just littered with grapplers like Sean Brady and like Pat Sabatini and Randy Brown and Joe Pyfer. Like those guys are real. Andre Petrowski. A lot of people around his weight class that are really, really good for him. Jeremiah Wells, a lot of 170 and 185 pounders, so a lot of bodies for him to work with. His striking, I want to say it's okay, but he kind of, I talked about last week how Miles Johns just spams a left hook, a leg kick, and a right jab. Like that's all he does. Ruzi throws the shovel uppercut. He throws an overhand right. And that's about it. Those are his only two punches, and he throws them over and over and over again. I love the shovel uppercut. Not a lot of people do it. He is probably the cleanest shovel uppercut in the UFC. But when you're only throwing two punches the entire fight, it becomes awfully predictable. His for someone that's at a great jiu-jitsu camp, his wrestling is ass. He's rocking a 33% takedown in the UFC. He went life and death with Dustin Stolfus in his last fight, and that's concerning. Stolfus dropped him. Stolfus took him down. Rizaboev does slow down in his fights, and the level of competition is not good. I mean, Eric McConaughey's trash. Dustin Stolfus isn't very good. Joaquin Buckley dominated him via wrestling. That's weird. Cedric Dumas is trash. Bruno Ferreira is not very good. And then you have all regional scene. So yeah, level competition, bad. Striking, not great. Wrestling, bad. Jiu-jitsu, okay. Cardio, bad. Like there's a lot of bad things about this guy, to be quite frank with you. He hits decently hard, I'll give him that. But he also does not react well to pressure. I noticed that as well. If you get in this guy's face, he likes everything to be pretty. He does not like someone that is in his face constantly. And that's kind of what Battle does a lot of the time. And he changed his name from Pooh Bear to the Butcher. And the Butcher is gonna get in your face and pressure you. He'll hold you up against a cage if he has to, but he loves to just make these real grindy fights. Battle, the Butcher is 30 years old. He himself is good striking. He's probably the better striker. He has good jiu-jitsu. I'd say it's a wash on the mat. In regards to how hard they hit, they both hit decently hard. He has a 53% takedown defense. So he can't wrestle either, to be honest with you. Um, I don't like his get up game that much if he does get taken down, but Ruziboev doesn't really wrestle, so that shouldn't be an issue. His cardio is good. It's probably better than Ruziboev's, to be honest with you. And unlike Ruzi, he does throw a ton of volume when he's on the feet. And again, he will clinch you and just hold you up against a cage and regroup if he has to. And he will even sprinkle in a takedown. He's not good at it, but he's good for one a fight. He'll try to do that. The problem with this fight is whether it happens or not, because the very first fight with Brian Battle is the scale. The dude has dropped from 185 to 170, and I think he made weight once. Hmm, he did not make weight against Gabe Green. I think he made it against AJ Fletcher. I know he didn't make it against Kevin Jousset. He didn't make it against Randy Brown. He wasn't even close. Actually, it was just the two. My apologies. His first try going to 170, he didn't make it. His second try, or sorry, Takashi Sato, he made it there too. He went back ways. God. God. Okay, so he only has two weight misses, but he looks like death every time he's on the scale, and he has missed it multiple times. So let's just make sure this fight actually takes place. Um, at the end of the day, I do think Battle's the better fighter. He's the younger fighter, and he has already beat someone in the Renzo Gracie group with Randy Brown, and Randy Brown is better than Ruziboev. This is actually a downgrade, and it's probably a punishment for him not making weight the last time. So at the end of the day, if you're giving me the same style fighter at a worse level and you already beat one, I'm going to pick him to do it again. So the pick is going to be Brian Battle. The bet is going to be Brian Battle. Next fight of the night. It's a good one. We have Jakar Close at plus 120 going up against Edson Barbosa at minus 140. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 165. Under 2.5 at plus 130. Let's start with Edson Barbosa. Edson Barbosa is an old man. Barbosa is 39 years old. He's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. He does have good striking. He does have a lot of power. He does throw decent volume. He's not easy to get down to the ground. He has a 72% takedown defense. Level of competition's great. He fought Justin Gaethje. He fought Habib. He fought Lerone Murphy. He fought Billy Q, Bryce Mitchell, Giga Chikadze, Dan Ige, Paul Felder, Kevin Lee, Beneil Dariush, Anthony Pettis, Gilbert Melendez. Like this guy has fought everyone. Like the dude is really, really, really good, really, really, really battle tested, and really, really, really old, man. He's 39 years old and he's moving back up to lightweight. I think this is where he should be. I think being 39 and cutting all the way down to 45 is a bad idea, personally. His cardio's okay. But with that age 39, he has been getting dropped quite a bit. He got dropped in his last fight against Lerone Murphy. He got dropped a few fights ago. Oh, he did beat King Green. Oh God, who dropped him? Was it Michael Johnson? No, that's way back. Giga Chikadze dropped him and actually knocked him out at some point. Sadiq Youssef dropped him. He's been dropped in a lot of his fights recently, and a lot of that is just old. And the fact that he's gone through all these wars, he's not just fighting scrubs, he's out there fighting just top 10 guys nonstop in two different weight classes. The dude's an absolute legend. The big cage is definitely going to help him because he does throw a lot of kicks. He does use a lot of movement. So that is very good for him. I do think he's better at 155, and I do think he's better in a big cage. It's not an easy fight though against Jakar Close. Jakar Close is actually really talented. You just never know because he doesn't really take steps up. He just loves fighting the mid-level guys. Uh, he loves fighting Beneil Dariush isn't a mid-level guy, but he loves fighting like the Hoffa Garcias of the world, even though Hoffa stepped in on short notice. He loves fighting the Joel Alvarez of the world. He loves fighting the Joaquim Silva of the world or Neto BJJ. Like all those guys are good, but they're like number 15 are not ranked. They're like top 20 guys. They're not top 10. They're not really even top 15. They're like a smidge under. And they're giving a step up in Barbosa. Barbosa's a kind of a top 15 fringy guy, so still not the highest level of competition. When he did get that high, though, Beneil knocked his ass out, and Joel Alvarez knocked his ass out. So he does have a little bit of a chin issue. Part of that probably being because he's 37 years old. He's not young himself. He has good striking. He is okay wrestling. He is okay jujitsu. He throws decent volume. Again, level competition's okay. But he does slow down a touch in round three. He loves the pressure forward, which is good because Barbosa loves space. But he is a little chinny, as mentioned. Again, both of his losses when he stepped up, he got knocked out. He got put in a really bad guillotine against Joaquim Silva. Joe Selecki got him in a triangle before he slammed him and got a KO. Like he gets himself in some pretty difficult situations. He gets caught in subs and he gets knocked out on a consistent basis. Um, but he has a ton of wins on his record against those mid-tier guys. Is Barbosa a mid-tier guy or is he not? That really deciphers whether Close is going to win or not. The answer is I don't know because Barbosa's going back up to 155 and he's 39 years old. So if Barbosa is missing a step now, being this old, yes, Close. It's the right level and Close can get the job done as a decent dog. But I haven't seen it. I've seen his chin diminishing a little, but I haven't seen the speed, the power, the talent drop off at all yet. So for that reason, I'm going to ride with Barbosa until I physically see it. The pick is going to be Edson Barbosa. The bet's going to be Edson Barbosa, but a very, very, very low level, a very, very small amount because Barbosa, I think he wins, but not a lot of confidence. He could slow down at any fight now. He's 39 fucking years old. It's coming. Next fight of the night. We have Alexander Hernandez at plus 275 going up against Chase Hooper at minus 345. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 130. Under 2.5 at plus 100. Let's go ahead and start with Alexander, the great Hernandez. Alexander is 32 years old, which is crazy because he's been in the UFC forever. The Great Eight, my apologies. He has good striking. He's working on his cardio, training over with Raw Dog and Gouda Larry and over in Colorado. So he's working on it because he knows his cardio is trash. His jiu-jitsu is okay. It's gotten much better. His wrestling's pretty decent. It's okay. The problem with him is that he's hittable and he slows. That's his only issues. The dude is a great striker. He's a decent wrestler. He knows how to grapple. He just can only do it for so long. If he doesn't put you away, things get greasy. His last fight, he won against Kurt Halabaugh. That third round was, and that second round were real dicey. His win before that against Austin Hubbard, he won the first round. That second and third round got real dicey, won a split decision. Lost before that against Damon Jackson, lost a split decision. Bill Algeo dominated round one and then got absolutely worked round two and three. Why? Because he got tired. These guys can work you. Billy Q is not that good. Or I should say, he doesn't hit that hard, but he got a knockout in round two. Why? Because he gassed out. Anato Moicano took him down, ultimately finished him in round two because he got tired. It's over and over and over again. He gets these losses because he gasses out. He's a good fighter. He's just got to find a way to. He's getting better. Again, his last two wins are decision wins. He's doing a lot better job working on his cardio and being able to pace himself. But if you give him an absolute cardio machine or an absolute wild man, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. He cannot sustain the pace. And that's the issue we have here. They gave him the ultimate cardio machine. They gave him the wild man of wild mans. They gave him Chase the Dream Hooper, whose whole game is predicated on jujitsu and cardio. Like that is the kryptonite of Alexander Hernandez. Chase is 25 years old. He's only gonna have a 2 inch reach advantage, which is surprising to me because he's so tall and lanky. But he has world class cardio. Like he has Marab level cardio. He has Anthony Hernandez level cardio. Like those are the top two best cardio guys in the UFC. And Chase damn well might be three. He has okay wrestling. It's improved quite a bit. Seeing him take down Clay Guida multiple times, seeing him take down Jim Miller multiple times. His wrestling's gotten much better over the years. His striking's gotten better. It's still not good. He's still extremely hittable on the feet, but he's durable. And his jiu-jitsu is world class. The dude is really, really, really good, really, really, really funky when it comes to the ground. He throws decent volume. Defensively wrestling, 55% takedown defense, but he is a scramble master. If you take him down, expect him to throw his legs up and you to be put in some weird, precarious positions, probably swept, probably reversed. He is just a whiz on the ground. So how does Alexander Hernandez win this fight? I don't think he can do what he's been doing. When he takes you down and tries to hold you down, he tries to strike a while and then he just wrestles and tries to hold you and hang on for dear life. He can't take down Chase Hooper. He takes down Chase Hooper, he's in trouble. So you would think he would try to just outpoint him on the feet. Chase doesn't stop moving forward, and he's going to make him work on the feet just like Billy Q did. It's kind of a lose-lose. Alex has to knock him out. That's the only way I can see Alexander Hernandez winning this fight. I don't think he has the cardio for the decision. I don't think he has the cardio to point fight him. I think he has to put him out and put him out early, or he's absolutely fucked. Is he going to do that? He could. We saw Chase Hooper knocked out before. Chase Hooper got knocked out by freaking Steve Garcia back in 22. But that's the fight that made him go up to 155. He said he's too like just drained at 145. And the kid is yet to lose at 155. He's an absolute monster up at lightweight, and I think the trend continues. The pick is going to be Chase the Dream Hooper. The bet is going to be Chase the Dream Hooper, and I like the under quite a bit. You could also just cover yourself on both ends. I think Chase drowns him and gets the finish. But if Hernandez does catch him early, the under 2.5 is plus 100. It's plus money. So definitely keep an eye. Definitely place a bet on Hooper and the under if you want to just kind of catch both ways. Speaking of, we have Jessica Andrade at plus 125 going up against Lupita Lupi Godinez at minus 150. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 330. Under 2.5 plus 240. Let's start with Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is kind of fallen on hard times as of late. She's 33 years old and she's a former champion of the world. She has good striking. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. She has okay wrestling, contingent on who she's fighting. Defensively, 71% takedown defense. Has fought the who's who, has a great level of competition. Her cardio's fine. Her volume's great. She pressures you like a motherfucker. It's just she's losing a lot to the same style over and over and over as of late. Jasmine Jasudavicius, J Jessica Andrade likes to fight at 115 and at 125. She said 115 is a really hard weight cut for her now, but she's just seemingly too small at 125. And Jazz just ate her lunch money. Jazz was three times her size, just took her down and choked her out real easily. Natalia Silva, also at 125, is fast as fuck. Like she's probably the next champion, to be honest with you. I think Valentina's gonna have some fits with Silva. She has really good takedown defense, and throws in combination, throws decently hard, and it's the cardio to move the entire 15 minutes. Really tough matchup. Tatiana Suarez is a grappler. She took her down and she choked her out. Yan Janan clipped her. That was a weird one. That one, Jan's really, really good. That was a weird result. Erin Blanchfield is a big girl that took her down and grappled her and ultimately won the fight. She's running into Rose Namajunas, took her down a few times. Valentina Shevchenko took her down and then crucifixed her. She's running into a lot of issues with grapplers as of late. If you're the faster striker, she's going to struggle. If you're the better wrestler, she's going to struggle. Loopy is neither, to be honest with you. Loopy's a damn good wrestler. Her sister was in the Olympics for wrestling. And if Loopy utilizes that game plan, she could definitely win this fight. On the feet, it's pretty close. Loopy's also a very good boxer. But I think she's going to have to utilize the takedowns like everyone else. The issue I'm having is that Loopy is not a 125 pounder. Aaron Blanchfield that out grappled her, Jazz Javicius that out grappled her, Valentina that out grappled her. All of them are up at 125. Loopy's a 115 pounder. I don't know. Tatiana Suarez was able to out grapple her at 115, but Tatiana Suarez was also good enough to wrestle in the Olympics. Loopy's a good wrestler, but she's not an Olympic wrestler. She has good striking. She has good wrestling. She has okay jujitsu. I think the jujitsu is a wash. I think Andrade is probably the better striker. Cardio wise, I'd probably give the advantage to Andrade, to be honest with you. Loopy gets tired if she has to wrestle the whole time. She does throw decent volume and she pressures forward. Andrade pressures forward, so it's going to be interesting to see them meet in the middle. I've seen Loopy chin checked a few times. That's the other thing you got to be cognizant of. I think Jessica Andrade is just really live, to be honest with you. I am gonna pick Loopy. I think Loopy uses the wrestling. I think she wins rounds one and two by wrestling, and then ultimately hangs on in round three and gets the win. But what I'm probably going to do is live bet Andrade. I think Andrade loses round one, to the wrestling. And then if the number's right, because she's already plus 125, they put her at like plus 200. I'm jumping in live on Andrade. And I think that's the way I'm taking it. The pick is Loopy. I'm going to ultimately live bet Andrade, um, seemingly if she's still there. Next fight of the night. We have Gerald GM3 Mearshart at at plus 180 going up against Michael Oleanchuk at minus 220. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5, minus 115. Under 1.5, minus 115. Straight pick 'em, homie. Let's go ahead and start with GM3. I think GM3 is trash. GM3 is 37 years old. He has a 3-inch reach advantage, which is nice. And the crowd will probably be behind him considering this fight's in Chicago. I don't think there's any fighters from Chicago on the card, but Milwaukee's pretty damn close. And he's the American in this matchup. He has great jiu-jitsu. That's it. That's all he has. His wrestling's not good. His striking is not good. He's chinny as fuck. He gets knocked out in every single one of his losses. His cardio's not good. He does slow down. His volume is not good. He's extremely hittable, and he panics when people pressure him. That's the biggest thing in this matchup. If he takes down Michael Oleanchuk is in some serious issue. Because Michael Oleanchuk is not a good grappler at all. Most of his losses are because he got choked out or submitted on the ground. However, Michael Oleanchuk does one thing and one thing extremely well: pressure. That's all he does. And again, I watched GM3, and whenever you pressure GM3, he crumbles. He doesn't really know what to do. He ultimately gets dropped and then tries to sub you when you get tired. That's what happens over and over and over again. Michael Oleanchuk got beat by Caio Borralho and decided, I want to train with that guy. I should not have been out grappled like that. I'm going to figure out how to do it. And he joined the Fighting Nerds. Fighting Nerds are all very good on the ground, and they all have very good takedown defense. Carlos Prates, 80% takedown defense. Gene Silva, 90% takedown defense. Uh, Kyle Morales, I don't think he's ever been taken down in the UFC. These guys' takedown defense is phenomenal. And now Michael Oleksiejczuk is there. If his takedown defense is up to par, he's going to kill GM3. He has good striking, he has decent power, but all he does is march down and put your lights out. That is exactly how he fights every single time. He throws a ton of volume. He can slow down in his fights, but no more than GM3 does. Again, 48% takedown defense normally. Is Fighting Nerds Michael Oleksiejczuk going to be able to stuff takedowns? If the answer is yes, he's going to dominate. If the answer is no, he's in some serious trouble. So that makes me look at the over-under, but I don't like the over-under being a pick 'em at 1.5. For that reason, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to trust Mikey O. We locked him against Drake Dumas. He came through for us, and we're going to hope he does it again. So the pick is going to be Michael Oleksiejczuk. The bet is going to be Michael Oleksiejczuk. Next fight of the night is the headliner for the prelims. We have King Green, not Bobby anymore, the artist formerly known as Bobby. King Green at plus 130, going up against CDF, Carlos Diego Ferreira at minus 155. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5, minus 210. Under 1.5 at plus 160. Let's start with King Green because he's pretty basic here. King Green is 38 years old. He's old as fuck. Throws a ton of volume and is a really, really good striker. Not a ton of power on his shots. Jiu-jitsu, he's serviceable. I mean, he had a submission win over Tony Ferguson last year, the ghost of Tony Ferguson. But all in all, he is a volume striker. That's what he does over and over and over again. The problem is he's getting very chinny being 38 years old. He's already notorious for like pissing off the judges and losing split decisions. But not only can he get screwed on a judge's scorecard, he can get screwed in the octagon with his chin now. So he does concern me quite a bit. You give him the right person, he's more than live. If you give him someone that can crack, he's in some trouble, and I have to consider. They gave him CDF who can crack. The problem is CDF is also old. He's older. He's 40 years old, but he is going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. He has world-class jiu-jitsu. He hits extremely hard, but his bread is buttered on the ground. World-class jiu-jitsu. His wrestling's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. Bobby has 74% takedown defense. CDF can probably get him down to the ground. He's getting chinny with age, and he's getting dropped in all of his fights, but he's not getting knocked out. King Green is getting out cold in all of his fights. To use Rebecca fight, he got dropped. The Michael Johnson fight, he got dropped, but he got back up and he won both of those fights. So at the end of the day, the way you generally beat him is by exhaustion. Mateusz Gamrot exhausted him. Gregor Gillespie exhausted him. Beneil Dariush exhausted him by outgrappling him. All of those are top. Those are like 3 of the top 5 wrestlers in the weight class. Like those are really, really, really good wrestlers. Bobby Green ain't wrestling. Bobby Green's gonna stand and throw with pitter patter shots at a high volume. CDF can just take him down. CDF can knock him out. I think CDF has more ways to win. So for that reason, the crowd will probably be behind King Green, but my money will probably be behind 40-year-old CDF. The pick is going to be CDF. The bet is going to be CDF. Then that takes us to the main card. We have Tim Elliott at plus 250 going up against Kai Asakura at minus 310. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 140. Under 2.5 plus 110. I originally went to go place a bet on Tim Elliott. Did fight tape and changed my mind. I actually voided my bet. I placed a bet on Tim Elliott and I voided it. I think Kai Asakura probably gets the job done. Tim Elliott's underrated, but it's hitting the end of the road. He's 38 years old at this point. He has good wrestling. He has good jiu-jitsu. He's fought a great level of competition, but he's starting to get tired and slow down. In every single one of his fights, we saw him get submitted in round 3 against Muhammad Makayev. We saw him get dominated by Mateus Nicolau in round three. We saw him get choked out because he was exhausted in round two by Brandon Royval. We saw him gas out and lose a decision against Askar Askarov, just over and over and over again. He starts hot and then he slows down. Even in wins like against Tagir Lilienbekov, I thought he lost the fight. Victor Altamirano, he lost round three for sure. But it's all because he got tired. He gets real tired, real fast, considering he's 38 years old. In regards to his striking, all I can say is unique. Because it's very I always compare him to Amanda Hebos with their herky jerky movements. But there's a lot of times where he just lifts his knee in the air and just jumps on one leg and then throws a jab. I can't describe Tim Elliott striking. Tim Elliott can't describe Tim Elliott striking. It's unique. I don't know how you prepare for it. He just basically flails his leg and arms to try to distract you, and then throw stuff. That's what he does. Um, he also won't stop talking about how good of a striker he is and how he wants to display his striking. And to be honest with you, his last few fights where he's been saying that, he's tried to strike with Sumadarji. He tried to strike with Muhammad Makayev. He tried to strike with Victor Altamirano. And then he saw the opportunity for a takedown when they started hitting him back. And that's what he did. But I mean, you can't play around with Kai Asakara. You can't sit there. I know that he's never been KO'd before, but if you say you want to try to strike again and you go out there and try to do it at 38 years old with on one leg hobbling at someone, uh, I don't think it's a good idea to do that against Kai. Because Kai throws absolute heat. He came in and people are going, you're gonna get a discount on Kai Sakura right now, I was thinking because of how he lost his last fight. He lost his UFC debut. People would slow down on him. He's still a minus 310 favorite here. He's a good striker. He has a ton of power. He's fought a good level of competition. I mean, his losses are to Manel Kopp and Haraguchi and Alexandra Pantoja. Like he's only losing to the top five of the weight class. His jiu-jitsu's okay. He knows what's going on down there. He's just not going to out-grapple Pantoja. He has very good timing on his knees. If you go in and you shoot a single leg or a double leg, it's very difficult not to get hit in the face while doing so. He has a ton of knee knockouts. Very good at timing that. Again, he's just massive for the weight class. A lot of his fights were at 135. He cut down back down to 125 for the first time in a while when he fought Pantoja, and he looked good. He has a 3-inch reach advantage. Um, his cardio, he does slow down, but again, so does Tim Elliott. So at the end of the day, this is the epitome of striker versus grappler. But the striker is bigger and hits harder. And the grappler keeps talking about wanting to display his striking. So if he plays around, he's going to fuck around and find out. And I think ultimately damage over control. This could ultimately be a split, or this could be Tim Elliott's first KO loss of his career. At the end of the day, I have flipped. I was going to be on Tim Elliott, but I just can't. The pick is going to be Kai Sakura. The bet's going to be Kai Sakura. And keep an eye on that under 2.5 at plus money. If Tim Elliott does like lie to us and actually tries to grapple and get to submission under 2.5, I could see it. If he goes in there and tries to box and get knocked out, I could see it in the first 2.5. And that means that the under 2.5 covers you both ways. That's another one where if you don't want to pick a side, because you'll probably have to parlay Kai, you can also just take the under and hope for violence. Next fight of the night, we have Jared Cannonier at plus 160 going up against Michael Venom Page. Minus 190. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 280. Under 2.5 at plus 210. Let's start with the Killer Gorilla and Jared Cannonier. This is the card of old people, apparently. Cannonier is 41 years old. He has good striking. He has good power. He has good volume. But his jujitsu is trash. His wrestling, his takedown defense is actually pretty bad. It's like 60% takedown defense, but it's not going to matter in this matchup because MVP, I don't think has ever shot a takedown. Jared has a really good level of competition, but he's just physically slow being 41 years old. He still has good cardio, especially for a 41-year-old. It's just his actual physical mechanics. He is slowing down quite a bit. Being 41 years old, that's fully understandable. Michael Venom Page is old as shit too at 38, but he ain't slow at all. Michael Venom Page is going to have an inch and a half reach advantage in this matchup. He has world-class karate striking. One of a kind. No one can duplicate what he does. It's a little lower volume, but he does hit decently hard when he does go. He usually fights at 170, but his last fight was at 185, and he said he felt good, so he wanted to stick around a little. And he was faster than people at 170. He is a fucking blur to these guys at 185. They don't know where he is. And we're in a big cage. We're not in the apex. You're not going to be able to just grab a hold of him. He's going to have a lot of room to dance around and move. And I think that spells a lot of trouble for a slow 41-year-old Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier has also been dropped in a lot of his fights as of late. Even some of his wins, he's getting dropped first. Michael Venom Page is probably dropping him round one, if not finishing him. And if he doesn't finish him round one, I think he's going to hurt him enough and he's going to frustrate him enough to where MVP ultimately wins in this 15-minute period. So the pick is going to be Michael Venom Page. The bet's going to be Michael Venom Page simply on predicated on speed and power. That's what it comes down to. Next fight of the night, we have Jeff Hands of Steel Neal going up at plus 205, going up against Carlos Prates at minus 250. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 120. Under 2.5 minus 155. This fight was canceled on a previous card. I was upset because I thought it'd be a banger, and it's back, baby. Jeff Neal is how old is Jeff Neal actually? 34 years old. He's getting old. He has good striking. He has 87% takedown defense. His jiu-jitsu is non-existent, but he throws with a ton of power, a ton of volume. He loves to just pressure forward and box you in the pocket. And that's how he gets all of his wins. When he's going in and he's fighting a Santiago Ponzinibbio, or not even Santi. But he goes in and he's fighting Vicente Luque, who wants to just brawl with you. He's gonna get in the pocket. He's gonna make it dirty. He's gonna beat you up. A Mike Perry, he's gonna go in there and he's gonna beat you up. Nico Price, he's gonna go in there. He's gonna beat you up. Hell, he has a win over Bilal Muhammad. He was able to sprawl and brawl Bilal Muhammad and get a win over the former champion. Like all of that is good. His last win against RDA hurt his leg, but he's winning the fight before then. Just sprawl and brawl and get in the pocket, beat you up. The people he struggles with, Ian Machado Gary is a tall, lanky southpaw. Shavkat Rakhmonov, and it's a big southpaw. Neil Magny is a tall, lanky southpaw. And Stephen Thompson is a tall, lanky southpaw. If he can't get in the pocket and box with you and kind of work his way into the fight, he struggles. He wants to brawl, he wants to box, he wants to put your lights out. If he can't reach you, or he can't hit you, he has a lot of issue. He can't wrestle to save his life, so he's forced to crash the pocket and get hit, basically, is what happens. On the other side, we have Carlos Prates, who is the tallest, lankiest southpaw that he has fought to date. Prates is 31 years old. He has great striking. He's another fighting nerd. 3-inch reach advantage here. He has a ton of power. He definitely has the death touch. 83% takedown defense, so he's not easy to take down, even if Jeff Neal wanted to. Volume's decent. I don't like how low he keeps his hands, and I don't like how hittable he is, mainly because he is the definition of a slow starter. He was in a close first round against Mitch Ramirez. That's how slow of a starter he is. He lost against Ian Machado Gary. He lost the early rounds. Neil Magny, it was a close first round until he got the KO. The Leech, it was a decently close first round until he dropped him at the end of the first. Charles Radke, it was a decently close first round until he knocked him out at the end of the first. Trevin Giles, he lost round one, was losing round two before he knocked him out at the end of round two. He will give up the first round over and over and over again. That's just what he does. He's like a tall, lanky Joshua Van with Francis Ngannou power. That's kind of what he is. Dude is just a slow starter. He takes a while to make his reads, but for the love of God, when he gets his read, you're in trouble. He's going to have to get bum rushed. Literally, Jeff Neal's going to have to go in there and just throw caution to the wind. We've seen him do it before. We've seen it work and we've seen it not work. But at the end of the day, I think these lines are off. I do think Jeff Neal is definitely live, but I think Protest is probably going to get the job done. So I looked at the under. Jeff Neal doesn't just go out there and get knocked out all the time. But I don't want to play with fire. Minus 250, minus 150. Yeah, the under 2.5 covers you more and it's better odds. But again, Protest is such a slow starter. I just don't know. So the pick is going to be Carlos Protest. The bet is going to be Carlos Protest. Then that takes us to the co-main event of the evening. We have a debuting fighter in Aaron Pico at minus 185, going up against short notice Lerone Murphy at plus 155. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 220. Under 2.5 plus 170. Let's start with Lerone, the Miracle Murphy. Lerone Murphy is 34 years old. He'll have an inch and a half reach advantage. He has good striking. His takedown defense is trash, 52% takedown defense. Offensively, a decent wrestler. He did figure out what a double leg was, and he is pretty decent pulling off his offensive wrestling. His cardio has looked good and it's looked bad. It looked bad in the Josh Kulabau fight. It looked bad in the Gabriel Santos fight. It looked bad in the Dan Ige fight. It looked great against Edson Barbosa. It looked great against Josh Emmett. You never really know. It looked great against Macron Americani. No. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks bad, and I don't really know if there's any rhyme or reason to it. What I can say is that in regards to his chin, it scares me. He is 16 and 0, and again, a lot of these people are losing their O's in the year 2025. He I don't know, man. He got dropped against Dan Ige. He got dropped against, or no, he got taken down multiple times against Josh Emmett. He got dropped against Edson Barbosa. He got dropped against Gabriel Santos. So those are his last one, two, three, four, five. In his last five fights, he's been dropped in three of them. He's due to go out. He gets rocked all the fucking time. And then he panic wrestles, he recovers, and then he ultimately wins the fight over and over and over again. I don't know if he can panic wrestle against Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico is a very, very, very good wrestler. But Aaron Pico is another guy coming over from Bellator that's supposed to be the new hot thing. But these guys are just crumbling. I mean, my guy, Apache Mix, looks horrible. RDR is doing well. But Patricio Pitbull came over from Bellator and looked horrible his first fight. They just kind of freeze out there. Everyone is coming in and freezing from Bellator. It's interesting. Is Aaron Pico going to go out there and be the normal Aaron Pico, or is he going to go out there and freeze? Couldn't tell you. I have no idea. All I can tell you is what he generally does. He's a 28-year-old prodigy. He was a Golden Glove boxer, so he has good striking. He was a potential Olympic wrestler, so he has Olympic level wrestling to go with his Golden Glove boxing. Like the guy is the real deal. His jiu-jitsu, he's a BJJ black belt. He definitely knows what's going on the ground. He has decent power. His cardio's okay. He can go a hard 15 minutes. He'll be tired at the end of it, but he can go all 15 minutes. He starts really, really, really fast. You don't have to worry about him trying to get a feel for what's going on. The earlier rounds are his best rounds. He pressures forward, makes you grind, and you're like, okay, he has good wrestling, good striking, good jujitsu. What's there not good cardio? What's there not to like about the guy? His chin, he scares me. He scares me a lot. He gets dropped quite a bit. He one of his losses was an injury, so he's just fickle. Adam Borax knocked him out. Henry Corrales knocked him out. In his first ever MMA fight, he got choked out in 20 seconds. That was just a learning lesson coming in thinking you're hot shit. I'll go ahead and ignore that one. That Zach Riemann guy is trash. He just got caught. But his other three losses are all by KO. The one was an injury, so I'll give him a little credit there, but that's just how fragile he is. He does not have a chin. He has all the tools in the world to be a world champion. He's 28, he's in his prime. He can do it all. He just doesn't have a chin, and it scares me quite a bit. Lerone Murphy, he cracks. He's not the world's hardest puncher, but he has a ton of knockouts on his record. Like he can hit you. So it does scare me. Do I think Lerone Murphy should be a dog? No. All these Bellator guys are coming in and just panicking. He should not be a dog. Am I going to bet him? No, I think Aaron Pico's the better fighter. Am I going to trust another Bellator guy coming in? No, I'm not hard headed. So I was looking at the over-under. Both these guys are chinny. Lerone Murphy is undefeated, but he's been dropped in three of his last fights. Aaron Pico, every single one of his losses in the last like 10 years are by knockout. So at that point, you have two power punchers, two bad chins, and under 2.5 at plus 170. Why pick a side? Why pick a side? I'm just going to go ahead and trust that one of their chins go out again. So the pick is going to be Aaron Pico. The bet's going to be the under 2.5 at plus 170. And that takes us to the main event. If you haven't already, what are you doing? Smash the like, give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. We have our reigning, defending middleweight champion of the world, Driscus Duplessis at plus 195 going up against Hamzat, the Boars, Chimaev at minus 240. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 105. Under 2.5 at minus 125. Let's start with Chimaev here. Let Driscus go last out of respect to the champion. Boars is 31 years old. Another undefeated fighter. One of these undefeated fighters are losing their O. Just be ready. We'll probably have the crowd behind him. The crowd loves Hamza. He has great wrestling. He has good jiu-jitsu. He has okay striking. He has pretty good power. He's fought a good level of competition. He starts really, really fast. He has 100% takedown defense. This dude is the real deal. The UFC pegged him as a future champ. They were giving him people like Leon Edwards in like his fourth career fight before he started getting hit with COVID. And that really halted his career. Then he decided to be great friends with like just political figures that aren't necessarily well reserved. They're not really liked in many countries. So he was having some visa issues, talking to just Chechen dictators. Um, so between his visa issues and his battle with COVID, like he almost retired. And then he decided to come back. And he did go up a weight class. And he's been at 185 ever since missing against Nate Diaz. The UFC was like, okay, well, you're going to have to go up to 185. And he said, okay. He fought at 180 in 2022. He fought at 185 in 23. He fought at 185 in 24. So he fights once a year. And he just beats like former champions, Kamaru Usman, Robert Whitaker. He just goes out there and dominates them. What I will say, the one thing he has going for him that's an issue is his cardio. The dude gets tired in all of his fights. His fight against Gilbert Burns was razor thin because he gassed out. His fight against uh, Mara Usman was really close because he gassed out. And then Whitaker, he finished early. Kevin Holland, he finished early. The Leech, he finished early. Gerald Mearshart, he finished early. All these guys got finished in round one, round two. He's fine. But then when that third round hits, he is huffing and puffing. If you can survive, I don't know if he can go round 4 and 5. The one thing that he was not blessed with were iron lungs. His cardio is not good, and we've never seen him in a 5 round fight. Can he go 5 rounds? I don't know. Are we going to find out? Probably. DP is I talked about Tim Elliott striking being unique. All of DDP is unique. I think he is the worst. He's one of the worst technical fighters on the roster, and he is a current champion. He makes his style work. I have given up fading the dude. The dude has actually earned my respect. I could not stand DDP for the longest time. And for the first time, which means he's probably going to lose now, he has gained my respect. You can do nothing but admonish that his weird, peculiar fight style is effective. He's an okay jujitsu guy. He's an okay striker. You're not supposed to strike with your chin in the air. He puts it sky high and just throws. Like no technique, chin sky high in the air, just throwing. Not technical at all. His wrestling, what you're supposed to shoot doubles or do body locks. He throws head and arms, which is giving up your back. Like that is the worst takedown you can do in the UFC. And it's working. I don't understand. I don't get it. His cardio used to be some of the worst you've ever seen in the weight class. He got a nose surgery, and now all of a sudden he's out cardioing Sean Strickland. The dude is an enigma. I don't know what to do with DDP outside of just respect his trash talk on the mic. He's the best at getting in his opponent's head. So he's great on the mic. He's good in the octagon in his own unique way. I don't know. He is just an enigma. There will never be another DDP. And for that reason, him being a champion and being dog money has my attention. I might have to pull the trigger. If he can survive against Hamza and make Hamza go into those deep waters, he was losing against Israel Adesanya. Let's not forget, he was into round four, losing his title, and found a way to win. He got absolutely decimated by Robert Whitaker for the majority of round one, and then clocked him and ultimately got the win. He was getting beat up by Darren Till, ultimately got the win. He was getting beat up by Trevin Giles all round one. Ultimately got the win. The dude is a win. He was getting beat up by Brand Tavares. He was getting beat up by Derek Brunson. He's always losing. He's always losing. And he finds a way to win. Can he do it again? At plus 200 as a current champion, I'm willing to find out. The pick is going to be Hamzat. He should just go out there and kill him. But the bet's going to be DDP. The current champion at plus 200 can't do it. I'm going to have no choice but to bet him. And that's UFC 319. It's a fun card, man. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of undefeated records, a lot of unique fight styles, a lot of unknowns, and hopefully a lot of money being made. Let's get after it.